joining me today. I get so much excitement out of that. And also, we have our friends from YouTube on today as well. They'll be on, so we'll be broadcasting both on Facebook and on YouTube going forward here, I guess. So, if you've been listening and in on the live at fives over the weekend, as I just got back from Michigan and got some awesome time with the love of my life. I got some time in with my son Joey, who I just absolutely adore, the man and the person that he is. He's got a great girlfriend. Just seeing his life, at 24, seeing his life starting to ramp up and take off, and watch him, watch him overcome his paradigms, watch him making those shifts in his life into being, doing, having, creating what he wants in his life. So today, I've been kind of going along a chain here, and we talked yesterday about the power of letting go and how important and how critical that is. And today I want to continue that, but I want to shift back into paradigms again, because paradigms literally have the power to kill our relationships. It has the power to kill wealth in every area of our life. Our health and well-being, our paradigms can step up and hold us back from achieving what we want to achieve. In some of the ways I've talked about this before, but some people live for 90 years and other people live 1 year 90 times, and they just continue repeating those same patterns over and over and over that are no longer serving them. Those 1 year 90 time people, they never move toward realization in their life. The difference between people who achieve that life where they get up and spring up out of bed in the morning and they love their life, and you hear them talking about it so much, it might make you kind of feel like, whatever. But those people have a different way of processing their paradigms. They have a different way of looking at their paradigms. And I want to go into this today. So let me just ask you guys a question. When you woke up today, with it being Monday morning, did you get up excited for the week ahead? Did you get up excited to get into your day and spend your day doing the work, the life work, the creativity that you love to do? Because if you didn't, then there's room to grow in that. And it's not a good or a thing of good or bad, right or wrong. It's just where you are. Do you want to live that 1 year 90 times? Or do you want to live in that excitement and that gusto and that passion in your life? So in our health and well-being, I work with a lot of clients who are looking at losing that last 10, 20 pounds or even more than that. And they'll talk about how they'll be on a food plan and they're following it. Hey, Phyllis. And they're following that food plan, and then they come across a piece of chocolate cake and they just all of a sudden they're eating it. And it's almost subconsciously they grab that cake and they start eating it. Why is that? Or people will talk to me about their finances, and they have tight finances. And then every time they'll get a little amount of money or some amount of money, and they'll put in the savings. And every single time things come up to drain that back down. And it seems like every time they get up, it comes back down. The same thing there with paradigms. It's those paradigms that are acting out in our everyday life. And I want to give you an example of this, of something I realized. I love continuing to learn and grow and expand in my life. And then I love when that happens because I know I can share it with other people. So one of the things I've talked about before in my book, Life's Lessons, where I say, everything happens for me and not to me. And when I take the judgment out of what's happening, I can start looking at the things happening and understand how they're trying to grow and expand me. So I have this awesome love in my life, greater than anything I've ever experienced before. And we just connect on every single different level. We're cheerleaders for each other. We're fun. We enjoy each other. We enjoy doing the same types of things. We both have that dive into that spiritual depth and continue to expand and grow in our life and understand more of how to apply. And we even both have the same goals as far as helping other people, similar goals as far as helping other people. And we were talking this weekend, and we had a little disruption come up. You ever have that in your relationship where everything's going along great, and all of a sudden something small seems to happen and it disrupts everything. It kind of puts everything on kilt, so to speak. And so as we're talking about this, what we realized, and this is how paradigms can act in our life. This is how paradigms can rob us of our dreams, our visions, our goals in our life. So a paradigm comes up in one person's life. Hey, Chris, a paradigms come up in a person's life. Something happens, it bumps up against a pattern, paradigm, conditioning from the past and such. And all of a sudden we start, without even recognizing it, we start reacting to that. And now the person reacts out of that paradigm. The other person in the relationship now picks that up, and that bumps up against one of their patterns or their paradigms or their conditionings from their past. And now all of a sudden they're reacting to that. And you have this thing that is nothing really, truly nothing other than a shift in perception based on a paradigm, has two people separated together, but separated between them. And the longer that goes, that can be in a love relationship. It can be with a parent-child relationship. It can a mother-daughter, father-son. I mean, whatever it is, it can be in those relationships, in good friendships. It can be in our business relationships. Ultimately, all of that driving everything goes to ourself. It can be in that relationship with ourself where that pattern or that paradigm start going. We start moving ahead on something we want and we start making ground on it and we start heading that way and we hit that paradigm and it just shifts everything, pulls all the fuel and energy out of that and just sit. So many visions and dreams are in that pit of that drop because of a paradigm. And so now these two people, as I'm using this story, this analogy, as these two people, now all of a sudden they're kind of like disturbed with each other. They don't even want to be with each other, it seems like. And it's not them though. See, when you're acting through your paradigm, it's not your authentic self. It's not the real you. And so many people, some people want to live 90, some people live 90 years, other people live 1 year, 90 times. That 1 year, 90-time person will continue to go up against those. What we have to understand is those patterns and those paradigms and that conditioning from the past are only coming up so that we can release that, gain tools and support to move beyond that so we can move forward in our life. If we don't do that, we just continue living that over and over, 1 year, 90 times, and over in our life. And this is the other thing I'm finding, having the knowledge of that, having the understanding of that, having the insights of that, how those patterns, paradigms, and conditioning can just drop everything that we truly desire into that pit of loss for life. Having that insight is not enough. We can't change anything. We can't do anything different with the insight. It's a starting point. Our awareness to our patterns and paradigms is a first step toward achieving the life for which we're desired and what we deserve. And I believe in that with all my heart and all my soul. But that awareness doesn't change it. It's stepping into it. It's getting tools, it's getting processes, it's getting support, to help move through that and shift that. I'll give you another, for instance, of a paradigm I hear quite often when I'm working with people. And right now in today's world, it seems like finances is a really big, a really big issue for a lot of people. And I've shared this story, I grew up watching my parents struggle through my entire youth. And when I got to adulthood, as much as I knew that was wrong, I carried those same patterns into it. So there's a lot of people I talk to with their business that are struggling with their business right now. A lot of people I'm talking to with their family that's just struggling individually and family right now with wealth. But one of the things I notice is when I'm talking to people about that, and I get even a few sentences in, one of the things they'll bring up is their goal is to get out of debt. Now you think about that, their entire focus is on debt. It doesn't matter whether you're focusing on getting out of or getting into. If your focus is debt, that's what you're going to create. And so as we live through those patterns and those paradigms, for me, it used to be that money doesn't grow on trees. We heard that all the time growing up, money doesn't grow on trees whenever you ask for something, Today, I believe that there is so much financial abundance in this world that every living, breathing person could have more than they could ever use. And there's an unlimited supply. That money literally grows on trees because it's paper. So if you're experiencing like the Monday morning blahs when you get up out of bed, or you're experiencing like where you feel like you're just, struggling financially just to kind of stay afloat, or maybe you feel like you're dropping down. If your relationships don't seem like they're working and you're in a relationship with a good person and it doesn't seem to be working, if your health, if you're not achieving what you desire to achieve in your health, there's more life for you then, but you have to step into it. The really good news is only you have to decide that enough is enough and you want to do something different. That's awesome, great news. Nobody can push you either this or that or anything. Only you have to decide that. You want to know the bad news? The bad news is that only you can decide that. Only you can decide that enough is enough. And I've taken people that I've worked with in coaching who have come in and talked about that, the level of depth that they're in. And I just really appreciate everybody joining me. I'm just going to stop here for a second for that. Like this, awesome. Love seeing this grow. But only you, I said that about only you can decide, enough is enough. And I'll have a lot of clients to me that'll come to me and say, man, I'm just in so much depth. They don't even know how much working with me or programs or anything I offer is. And they'll say, I just can't afford it. I can't afford it. And once I get them to that understanding that you don't know how much it is even, you have no idea the different programs I've put together. Remember, I come from a point of watching my parents struggle financially. I come from a point of struggling financially. I've built the programs. I've put together and created the programs based on all the works and all the investments and all the stuff I've done for people so that they can afford to shift their life. That was one of the major purposes in how we did things and how we create them and such, so that we had those affordability points built into it. So I have people that'll come to me and they'll start out by saying, I can't afford anything, I can't this, and then they'll find out the price. And what they'll find out is it's so awesome and incredible. Like, I just love when this happens, when somebody says yes to themselves and they step into it and we start working together. Is when we get into that in a short period of time later, all of a sudden their financial situation has shifted for them, and they've opened this like floodgates up as far as avenues for things coming in, avenues for paying the things up, avenues for like living differently financially. And what that is because they made a decision and they took an action into not living that 1 year, 90 time life anymore. So I love that you guys are here. One of the things I put out there right now, is as far as like I've been using wealth, and wealth is a mindset, right? I've said that a lot of times. Wealth is our mindset. We can either live wealthy or we can live poor in our health and our well-being. We can live wealthy or we can live poor in our relationships. Wealthy or poor in our vocation, our life work. Wealthy or poor in our time and money freedoms and what we get to do. I have to say this, like, I woke up this morning, and I spent 28 years in corporate America. So I know for me what the Monday grind was like. Today, we got home last night about midnight. And today I've been laying around all day. I've been able to I got my schedule set. So every Monday is a fun day for me. So Monday fun day and I'll spend time going fishing, hiking, today sleeping. But it's that freedom of my life. It's that having that freedom of your life for that choice to live it the way you most desire to live it. So as we step into this, I put a link in there today, and so many people are joining. It's awesome. The Ignite Success Facebook group, where we're adding inspiration, motivation. I'm going to start doing weekly Facebook lives in there, and it's going to have on-spot coaching. It'll have specific items that we go deeper into the coaching level with, but you have to be a member of that in order to attend those. And so there's no cost to it. Just join it, and we'll gladly let you in, and then we'll start going from there and we're going to build such a dynamic community in there, such a dynamic community of that wealth mindset, and tap into that one master mindset through all of us, throughout that group. And today, if you could look and see, those 4 areas, what area of your life, is there an area or what area of your life are you living that 1 year, 90 times? And just for the people coming in later, I'm glad to see everybody. I started this today by saying, some people live for 90 years. Other people live 1 year, 90 times, and they just continue to repeat those same patterns over and over and over that are no longer serving them. And we talked today about the paradigms and such. So what is that one area of your life that you feel you're just living that 1 year, 90 times? You're living that year over and over and over. Is it in your health and really achieving that, that temple body that you desire? Is it in your relationships and experiencing that great love relationship? Or maybe you have that great love relationship and you just, it doesn't feel like it's kindled right now. It doesn't feel like it's ignited right now. And maybe you don't even understand why. That's okay. It's not about the why. It's about just what it is, that awareness of what it is right now. I talked about the Monday grind, getting up Monday morning. Did you get up today excited to get into your day and for what you get to do today for work and, living your life and such? Or was it that Monday, dread, like, here we go again? And your time and money freedom. You know, do you spend your time living how you really want to live? Do you spend your time really living, you know, or do you just get through the weeks, get through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get to that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? You know, a lot of people I talk to, they go, you know, I can't even stand the weekends anymore because it's just honeydews. It's just a list of to-dos that I'm trying to do to catch up because of the stuff through the week and such. And, you know, are you living like that? You don't have to anymore. But only you, remember, the good news is only you have to choose that enough is enough and you're going to do something different. The bad news is only you can choose that enough is enough and you want to do something about it. So it's great to see everybody here. If you don't mind putting one area of the comments of where you're living that 1 year, 90 times. I put the link in here for you to click on and join the Ignite Success Facebook group. And it's probably be over the next week where we're going to start those Facebook lives in there and do on-spot coaching and things like that. So, you know, this is the time to join in there. And I think it's awesome how many people are showing up for that. And then if anybody has any questions, you know, as I'm talking right now and such, go ahead and drop it in there. I love all the comments that we're getting today. I love seeing everybody joining in and watching today. It's so awesome. And again, just welcome our Facebook friends because we're live on Facebook as well as with the YouTube. I'm sorry. Welcome our YouTube friends. We're live on YouTube as well as Facebook. So this is awesome. Jennifer, great to see you. So again, drop in the two things, two pieces of homework for you today on live at 5:55 with Joseph. One, drop in the comment. What area of your life, your health and well-being, your love and your relationships, your vocation, or your time and money freedom, which one of those areas are you living that 1 year, 90 times? Are you just repeating those same patterns that are no longer serving you? That's number one. Number two, if you haven't already, click on that link, join the Ignite Success Facebook group so that you can be involved in all of the inspiration, motivation, the tools, the Facebook lives coming up and all that. Nice. So if there's any questions, go ahead and post them now. If anybody has any questions about any of this, if anybody has anything they want to talk about, or they want me to discuss or anything right now, just go ahead and throw it in there. I'll stay on for another minute here and see what comes up. And the same thing for YouTube. If you guys are seeing anything, anything that you want to bring up, just drop it in there. Because here's what happens. If you have a question about things for you, by bringing it up right now, it helps everybody because you ask a question that everybody can work from, that can learn from and grow from and expand from. Just like if somebody else asks a question, you'll be able to do the same. So, oh, thank you, Kelly. Look at that. 1 and 2. You get that. You get the start for the day. Love and relationships. Yeah. Love and relationships can be a really tough one. And like I talked about earlier, if you weren't on to get to hear it, go back and listen to it when I talked about the paradigms, in a relationship. You can have two people, that are equally yoked, I guess is how I'll say that, in a relationship, and everything's going along great. And all of a sudden one bumps into a paradigm. And if they choose, and sometimes it's subconscious, but if they choose to pick up and live through that paradigm, it's going to impact that other person. And the story I shared was two people, one person picked that up, and all of a sudden the other person that bumped up against their paradigm. And now you have two people who are just having an incredible, miraculous time together, not talking. Literally sitting in a car next to each other, not talking for an hour. That's what paradigms can do to us. And it's not just in those relationships. Even finding that love relationship. I work with a lot of people and help them identify that dynamic vision for that awesome love relationship in their life, and then move into bringing that forward to creating that in their walk in their life. And in doing that, it's all about starting with that vision. So if you're seeking that relationship, ultimately, if you have an area of your life that's not just driving you crazy with excitement, there's room for growth. I believe for my life that I will grow until the day I pass, until the day I cross over and get to see my mom and dad again. I will continue to grow. Do I believe in timelines? Good question. Thank you for asking, Kelly. Do I believe in timelines? I believe in timelines to some degree. It's Yes, there's a lot of tools I take my clients through. One of the things that I do with them is goal setting. I do not do goal setting like what I was taught in corporate America, though. I don't list down, it's not a whole huge list of to-dos on everything I'm going to do, because I don't live that way anymore. We're not to-dos. We're not human doings. We're human beings. And we are so much more powerful than to-do lists. We are so much more powerful in creating the life that we want without doing it into existence. So I believe there's always a place for a timeline. You know, when we're coming out with a new program like the Ignite program that we recently launched and still going through launch with that and such, is we came out with that on when we were going to launch, and we put together everything we wanted to do, and we lined that out and determined when the launch was going to be. You know, so that was different than in my past. We would always say, here's when it's going to happen, and now here's all the stuff that has to happen by then. So there's a lot of tools, and I work with a lot of business people on Business Ignited, which is, the programs are on my webpage. You can go to the web, ifgtcoach.com, go to the programs page, and you can pull up the different programs. But there's a Business Ignited where we do 90-day goals, where we do that, where we set that up for. But again, I come from that vision of what's possible, because when we do the timelines on things, everything has to, it's all logical. It's all logical at that point. The wealth mindset ties in all aspects, body, mind, spirit. It's not just when we come across with timelines or to-dos or things like that, we're in that logic state. So we can go into that more. I'd love to talk to you about that more. I hope that helped. So any other questions anybody has? I hope this was helpful to you. I hope this was beneficial to you. I love this feeling, this expansion of seeing so many people show up. I love seeing that we're tied in now with Facebook and YouTube and combining this and stuff. It's like, man, this is just so incredible. I love my life. And I want you to love your life too. And that's what I know is available to you. So go ahead, take a step in whichever way works best for you. I've given you options. I love that you people are responding here. Have an awesome day, and God bless.